give it a second here. Let everyone in. Perfect. All right. You guys good to go?
Yeah.
Let's do this. What's going on, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Expected Bets 4. On today's episode, we'll be breaking down the 4 games for tonight's playoffs. Should be some pretty intriguing matchups. We were talking pre-show about this. I think at least 3 of the games we like a lot of props in, maybe kind of that one outlier, but that's kind of what you expect here in the postseason. Before we delve into the games here, Betsky, what's going on?
Oh, not much. Seeing Neil Young tomorrow, though. I've been talking about it all week. I can't wait. I spoiled it a little bit and looked up a set list, but it's going to be killer.
No, that sounds like a blast. Franco, how are we doing in Philly?
Good, man. Good. Beautiful day out here. So it's Friday. So let's relax, drink some beer, and watch some freaking playoff hockey. I'm ready for this weekend.
And your NFL team didn't draft Penix at number 8.
Why did that happen? Yeah. Seriously, the amount of quarterbacks that went early in that, I don't know. That was a gift for the Eagles to get the best corner, or at least the top ranked cornerback at 22.
Yeah, God,
I was pretty fired up about that.
No kidding.
Are you a Cardinals fan, Betsky?
Kind of. I mean,
I was wondering that too. I was thinking about that, like with the draft. I was like, I didn't really know your football team.
Yeah, they were so bad growing up. Then my dad always had ASU tickets, so I was more of like a Sun Devils football fan.
Okay.
And then I root for the Giants because Miss Betsky's family is all diehard Giants fans, so kind of got adopted by them. Obviously, when the Cardinals are playing well, I'll follow more closely and like root for them, but not like a diehard Cardinals fan or anything. But
yeah, it hasn't really been the case the past few seasons for sure.
For that it's like really easy for me to just like not care about them when they stink, but then they're like one of my top teams when they're good. And overall with the NFL, I just kind of enjoy all of it and watching it all and following different storylines each year. So
yeah. Before we get into the games here, a few coaching changes. Lindy Ruff back in Buffalo.
How do you feel about that? I feel like it's about 50-50 on the opinions I've seen.
Yeah, like I said, like he was the last coach to take us to the postseason. So it's a nostalgic hire. This fan base is probably the lowest we've been. Obviously, 13 seasons. We've missed the postseason here, but it's almost like we're just going back to give the franchise and the fans hope again. Just like this is like your childhood idol, like coming back home essentially, and you're just like, all right, maybe he can do something with this team. That's what it feels like more than anything. Is just like trying to get the fans back involved in this team because the attendance keeps going down. Like it's bad. Like morals are low. The morale is low in Buffalo right now in terms of the Sabres. So we'll see. I don't hate it. I mean, last year, you look at the Devils roster, their goaltending was so fucking bad. Like their goaltending was so bad. Obviously, a few questionable decisions with the young talent and the lines, but why not? He's the best coach we've had since we've had him.
Yeah.
You look at the other guys like we've hired, like Ralph Kruger, like Renato was decent, but it's like we haven't had many decent coaching options in Buffalo since he left.
Do you worry about him with all the young talent on that team, though? Like not playing them or not giving guys a chance and like bringing veterans and block up guys that should be getting more ice time, though?
We've gone through that, though, with the past few seasons, I felt like with Kruger, especially of like not playing young talent. Granato kind of changed that. But we have who else are we going to get? A brand new team? Our entire team's like extremely young.
It's all young.
Yeah, it's all young. So he's going to have to play them. We have a ton of prospects coming up, too. Kulich is going to be interesting. Rosen, that whole crew. So should be interesting. Skinner, I don't know what his deal is going to be.
Yeah.
If his defensive play keeps kind of on that subpar area, he could be out. So we'll see. Should be interesting here. And then obviously Quinn out in San Jose, which another interesting kind of move as well. What did you expect from him?
Well, I don't know what the point of that firing is. What's the point of hiring anybody then? Just
it's And especially if you're not going to be good next year.
No.
So why throw somebody new to that fire and what? It's awful. I mean, it's just a dumb move in my mind. But
Greer's done a decent job of like trying to get a few bad contracts off the books and try to like at least put one foot forward at least for this team. But the coaching change doesn't make any sense. Like give him another year or so. But
yeah, I think that hurts young players. Like I honestly think that's a huge issue in Buffalo, was just the constant like rotation of coaches, and it's you know, you can't pick who you work with. So if the players are complaining, like, so what? Suck it up and try to make it work. And if we continually don't see it work and hear more, then okay, then we'll think about it. But I'm kind of thinking specifically around Eichel and how vocal he was. But I don't know. I always think it's just a really bad look to only have a coach for like a year or two and then just give up.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Maybe if you're a contender, when you're a contender,
disappointing season, 2 disappointing seasons like in a row. Yeah, fair enough. Like locker needs a shake up, but
if you're rebuilding, if you're in the middle of like rebuilds or trying to make the playoffs, like it's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing too with Lindy, going back to that, I wish they would have announced it later on in the season, at least or later on in the summer, made it seem like they did more of an in-depth coaching search rather than just kind of before the postseason's even over, just be like, yep, these are guys. It's like there's a few other candidates possibly out there. Like who knows what's going to happen with Brendan Moore in Carolina. Like he would have been a great hire for the Sabres. So time will tell.
See if this is still Lindy's phone number. Okay.
Yeah, right. Well, of course, social media is going crazy, like with all the throwback videos of like, oh my God, he remembers the security guard. It's like, yeah, he was there maybe 13 years ago. Like, I don't think much has changed in that Sabres organization since then, to be honest here. So
just like 5 coaches.
Yeah, right. A few GMs.
and a whole roster full of players have been shuffled through already.
Exactly. All right, let's get to the first game of the night here. We have the Rangers at the Capitals. The Rangers hold a 2-0 series lead. They won game 1 4-1 and game 2 4-3. The good news for the Washington Capitals here is their home record has been much better than their away. We talked about this pre-show here, and it's pretty shocking. So they were 22, 12, and 7 at home this year, 18, 21, and 4 on the road. Feels like a series sweep here. Washington did put forth kind of a better effort last game, but it doesn't look bright for the Caps at all here. I'll start with you, Betsky. What are your kind of thoughts on this first game?
Yeah, I think this is still going to go to the Rangers. I actually feel like there's more often than not a team will go 3-0, then lose one, and then win 4-1 back at home. In these types of situations, like I feel like that just happens a lot more when the dominant team will lay off more after they've secured 3 wins than they are going to get like that pushback from the clearly worse team in game 3, like in the first home game or away game for the dominant team, you know?
Yeah.
This is not the time to get like cute with it in my mind. Maybe next game is when like, okay, Capitals are backed up against a wall. Rangers all they need to do is win one more. Like maybe they'd play a little bit, not with all their heart and soul in that. So yeah, in that kind of capacity, I'm definitely leaning on to Rangers props again. So parlay piece I wrote about on my sheet, Zibanejad still looks really good. These types of props always make me nervous, to be completely explicit, where they have some crazy run. I think he's hit 7 times in a row against the Capitals when you include the playoff games, but he's been just firing since late March. Mika March came late. We were joking about. So he's still on a roll. I'm going to just keep on rolling with it. His assist has been kind of sneaky good too lately.
I have that circled big time on this one. Yep.
9 of his last 10 games. So you kind of think of him as a goal scorer, but they're not getting the most power play opportunities in the world. And
Kreider started to pick up his goal scoring, especially on that line too. He started to become the primary shooter, it felt like. Minus 110 for his assist tonight.
Yeah.
Feels like some great value.
Yeah, I'm not on that at all, and it just kind of dawned on me as I was looking at his chart. So I may have to ride with that.
Yeah.
And then another one I really like on well, I'll do two on the Rangers side, and they'll both be assists here. So Trocheck assist looks great. His last 10 games weren't phenomenal as far as his point production, but he has an assist in both of the games so far in this series. He's on that line with Panarin. He is centering the top power play unit now, not just playing on kind of the half wall anymore. And that second line, this is where the Rangers are just rolling right now, are those top two lines. And game one was awesome to see Vesey and Rempe and everybody kind of go off on the fourth line. But this is where they just completely outclass the Capitals, in my mind, is two lines that need all your attention. And yes, the Rangers have some depth here, and I'm kind of surprised you're not seeing more from Kakko and guys like that, but it's just those top two lines are just too much. And Trocheck centering Panarin, who just had that hit, and that's probably going to be kind of an emotional line tonight. I just kind of love the value you get at minus 110 for his assist, minus 105. The other thing that I thought was kind of sneaky was this assist was like plus 150 at points in the season when he was rolling. So either he wasn't getting noticed as a playmaker because he shoots a good amount too, or the books are really concerned that that line is going to be productive, or he will be productive on the power play.
Yeah. There's a few sneaky props kind of on that top two lines, like you said. And I'm guessing kind of as they head down the road here, those two lines are going to be kind of the dominant. They're going to be kind of just chewing up ice time, it feels like, given how well those two lines played in the first two games of the series here. So I'll throw it to you, Franco. Any props in New York, Washington?
For me, this is the game I'm kind of off or out on, I guess you would say. I feel like it should be a Rangers win, but I think there should be some sort of pushback from Washington. I think there's a chance they're going to get Sandin and Jensen or one of the two back this game. That's kind of been like an underrated thing about this team, right? They're missing two defensemen, playing two guys that really shouldn't even be involved. Let's put it that way. And now you have to go against the Rangers in MSG. Not ideal. So if they get those guys back, I don't know. I kind of just want to stay away is where I'm at. Now, if they're both gone, then yeah, I probably think Rangers win this game. It seems like too obvious to me. I'm kind of hesitant on it. I feel like the Caps have to win at least one game. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. It just doesn't feel right to have three of the East series go to 3-0 right off the bat like this. And I know it's kind of like not like any other series affects this series, but just in my mind, logically, it doesn't make sense to just be like 3-0, 3-0, 3-0 like that. So I don't know. I'm expecting pushback. Maybe take Capitals in the first period or something like that. I saw their goal, just them to score a goal in the first period is minus 135. I don't hate that. Maybe you take a little sprinkle on just their money line in the first period. That's plus 110. And then if it's tied 1-1, you just get your money back. But again, I'm probably just going to lay off. I mean, there's just not a ton of value. You have to go to like the assist props, like you said. And for me, like player props just haven't really been working out with what I've been picking. So I'm not trying to get cute on a game that I don't love. And, Adam Fox point is minus 150. It's almost at that cusp of where I would take it, but I don't want to go down to his assist or, and then he scores a goal. I'm just going to be pissed off. So I'd rather just stay off, watch it, and see what happens.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Roslovic point plus 140 here? I had that circled. He's on that top line with Kreider and Zibanejad. He's also on that second power play unit. Feels like there's some value there.
Yeah, I mean, any of these guys that are on that top line like that, I mean, it's the same case for Henrique for Edmonton. We'll talk about that later. But
or how about Ehlers for Winnipeg, which we can talk about later.
Yep, there you go. I mean, it's just value, though. You know what I mean? Like,
no, exactly. I mean, there's no reason not to. It's kind of like how big is your card and how many of those guys do you want to put units on? But yeah, I'm in complete agreement. It's like it's kind of a pick your poison. Like which top line player with a bettable line do you want a point on tonight?
And the other thing too, I mean, again, like I don't love Washington, but they will have the last line change, so they'll be able to at least get whatever line they believe is their best defensive shutdown line out against that top line. So again, I don't know if they can shut that line down, and it's probably just a moot point anyway. But if there's ever a time to be at least like a little bit more hesitant than usual, this would be the time. In a, you're down 2-0 coming back home. This is your first playoff game in a while. The fans are going to be going crazy. And then, like I said, if those two defensemen come back too, that's kind of an added boost that I don't think anybody's really talking about.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Ovechkin tonight? Missed his shots on goal mark in the first 2 games. Hasn't recorded a point yet this series. Any hope? Any thoughts on trying to play something with him tonight?
Wait and see for me, man.
Yeah, there's no value. I mean, minus 166 on 2.5, and he's not even close, right?
So, no.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I honestly, at this point, it's sad to say, but I probably won't bet an Ovechkin prop until next season at this point.
I think that's fair. Next game up, we have Vancouver at Nashville. Nashville minus 115 on the money line. Over under set at 5.5 here. The series is tied 1-1. Betsky, where's Elias Pettersson?
Oh man, it's getting Rick Talkated, man. I've seen. I think he was the coach for the Coyotes for 3 years, maybe 4, and there are times where changing up lines just as you thought guys were getting great chemistry, getting in dog houses when you thought the player was playing well, making high skilled guys just concentrate on playing a super north-south game when all they want to do is be able to kind of water bug their way around the ice, and talk it like having to clinch and kind of turtle is not something I want to be part of as far as props go. And you could tell Pettersson wants to break through. He had 8 attempts last game, but yeah, I think Franco may have said it best. When's the last time Pettersson has been minus 130 for a point? Probably his rookie year.
Yeah. It's tempting.
I know it is, because the levy has to break here, right?
It has to eventually, yeah. But are you going to bet on that, or are you just? I think you wait and see, right? Like, why put yourself out and risk it in a situation like this, especially on the road?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy. I think he's got decent history against Nashville. His last 10 was all right.
Seems like if you're going to buy low, though, this is the time. So if he does put up that 2-point game, that point's going to soar back up to that 150, 160 mark. So if it was ever a time to kind of jump on the ship, game 3 is going to be it. But it just hasn't shown enough, Usually you kind of look at the expected goals for numbers and kind of indicate how well players, even if you didn't get on the scorecard, you're like, all right, at least you're showing something here. Person really doesn't have that.
Yeah. And I don't. Who's he playing with right now? The entire last 3 weeks of the season, maybe even longer, it felt like the Canucks just were constantly shuffling their lines. Why is Garland not on the line with Miller anymore, or Pettersson for that sake?
That line,
both of them near the end, and he was fantastic. Yeah. Both of those lines were producing when he was there, and now he's on the third.
Yeah, the Joshua Miller Garland line was fantastic for the last 2 weeks of the season, and then in game 1 they broke it up, and I didn't really understand that at all.
Yep. Yeah, he's with Hoglander and Mikheyev.
Okay, and Mikheyev hasn't looked right all year either.
Thank you.
He's I don't know what the hell happened to that guy. That guy used to be speed and just chance creation type player, and he's been non-existent. I feel like injuries have really hurt him.
Yeah, you see these kind of speedy, skilled guys have up and down years too, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you, Betsky. It's like that constant juggling of lines is like you never know where you're at with your coach, and
yep,
you don't have that chemistry, and you start to build something finally, and then it's shifted again. I saw like he kept putting the lotto line, as they call it, together, Miller, Besser, and Pedersen, in like random situations throughout the game when they'd have like offensive zone draws and stuff like that. And it's just like, I get that they have chemistry like historically, but like if you're not even playing with each other or practicing with each other, and like, what the hell are we doing? You know? And it's like, okay, now you're back on the line with Mikheyev now. Pedersen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any props, Betsky?
Not on the Vancouver side.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be targeting block shots from the Predators end again. I mean, how many did they have last game? I don't think they're going to give up yet.
The whole third period looked like they were on a penalty kill.
Yep. And you know, Vancouver doesn't have a ton of shot volume, so it's like just suck them all up, and why not? It's not like there's going to be 70 shot attempts.
No, there's definitely not. Yeah, you're right. It's a weird game for props. It really is. Any leans on the totaler side here?
I mean, am I crazy? You just want Nashville team total? Are they 2.5 or 3.5? Either way, it's like a parlay or a straight.
And then it's 3.5 is plus 145. 2.5 is minus 165.
That's a little.
It's steep.
Casey DeSmith over 2.5 goals against, minus 150. It's even on that borderline kind of market.
Yeah, it's rough.
I mean, I think I like the Nashville money line.
Yeah, I would say that's where you go if you like their team total. Like, I don't think there's any value at that. 2.5, obviously. 3.5 is a little steep.
Prop wise, Yossi assist is like minus 130. Yeah. And then Nyquist assist looks great again too.
Yep.
And even Ryan O'Reilly point, you're going to get a lot of value there. And you know, speaking of the first line player, maybe this isn't quite the same as type of line as some of the other ones we're talking about, but Ryan O'Reilly just doesn't always put up a lot of points, even though he can help his whole line generate them. But
he had a wide open chance in the slot last game too, and I was praying that went in. Of course, he missed it wide left, and I was like, well, there goes that point prop. But I knew as soon as he missed it, and I was like, no, we're done. We're done for the night.
That was his chance.
Yeah, I was like, that was it.
Unless there's like an empty net for he assists on because he tapped it to like
he's not skating after people. That one. Yeah,
no way,
not a chance. Franco, do you have any looks in Nashville, Vancouver?
Yeah, so I like Nashville's money line. I think it's a pretty good price coming back. They have a pretty decent home ice advantage. That place is going to be popping tonight, so I don't mind that. I think Vancouver's probably maybe they give a little bit more after that loss, but they got to be in a bad spot right now, losing their top goalie, the guy they can count on, and getting news that it's probably not even going to be just a week-to-week thing. It could be probably the rest of the series or the rest of the playoffs if they get past this series. Just makes it even more devastating. It's like, okay, we get past this team, cool, we get to play Edmonton or LA, and with Casey DeSmith, that's pretty bad. So, and then prop-wise, I mean, you can I don't know if you guys saw, but on FanDuel you can same game parlay point props now. As well as DK. I think DK is still like state to state. Maybe FanDuel is too. I don't know. But Forsberg and Yossi point is minus 115, at least on FanDuel. I don't hate that. Just 1 point each. I think Nashville gets probably 3 goals, and Forsberg has been phenomenal. Yossi coming off a game without a point, so I kind of like that. Again, I'm not going super heavy. I like the block shot props. I don't like that they bumped McDonough up after a big game he had. That's where I kind of like hesitate a little bit that he might not be feeling get a ton of blocks again. But yeah, I mean, you only have 4 last game. I guess that's not too many. I kind of like Carrier, and I kind of like Yossi blocks as well. Yossi, you'd have to ladder up, like 1.5 is minus 185, but he actually had really good his home numbers were like way better, especially against Vancouver. This season he hit that 1.5 5 times out of 5 games. So just he seems to hit it more often, the blocks at home, than he does away. I don't know why that is. So that's where I'm at. I think mainly I want Nashville money line though.
I think that's fair here. I really don't have kind of too much written down here. The power plays for each side have been brutal. Nashville 1 for 8, Vancouver 0 for 6 here. So you can't even kind of look at the power play angle, despite both Vancouver and Nashville were decent during the regular season. And their PKs were kind of below average. So figured that might be an angle here, but I don't think it is. Any other thoughts on Vancouver, Nashville?
No. Yeah, this is like, I hate to say it, but this is one of the series I'm just like want over. and it sucks because it's not going to, the next round of whoever plays, whichever team wins this round, it's not going to be fun either.
I was going to say, do you have any hope of Vancouver or Nashville advancing past the second round?
No way. No. Yeah. I guess maybe if the Kings win and if
it's true,
Nashville wins, maybe.
If Edmonton
wins, Smith is totally done, did we say?
Demko.
Demko. I think that it's not looking good that he's even going to come back next round. Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Like a Vancouver with Demko against Edmonton would have been awesome just because of the rivalry. Against LA would have felt pretty well matched. Without him,
now not so much. No, I don't know. I think Nashville versus Edmonton could be a fun series if that was. I could see that being more open.
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't know. I feel like they're trying so hard to sit back in this series. Maybe that shifts now that they're home, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I do think Nashville is like almost playing like Vancouver is playing, and we've seen earlier this season Nashville racking up goals, racking up points. So we know it's possible, but
yeah. I mean, they were exciting towards the end of the season. I was catching a ton of player props and stuff with them. So
yeah,
I think they can score. I think they can play high scoring, fun games if they are in a good series. This just doesn't seem like the right series for them, where they're going to want to open it up.
Would you lean the over or under here? 5.5.
I feel like over.
Yeah,
I feel like Vancouver doesn't get shut down completely again. I could see like a 4-2.
As I say, I don't mind the over in Nashville.
So then what? But then if you think it's 4-2 Nashville, then the team total is plus 145, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
don't know.
Yeah, out of all the games tonight, I can't say this is my favorite by any means.
No, this one and the Caps Rangers have been kind of the stinkers.
Rangers, at least, like we said.
Rangers, you can at least get great parlay pieces and like confident parlay pieces, and
even Lafreniere on that second line too. I forgot to mention him. minus 115 for a point tonight. That's not a bad look at all, especially with how well.
Yeah.
So Roslovic and Lafreniere, and then even Zibanejad assists. So a few much more availability in terms of player props on that Rangers side of things. Next game up, Winnipeg at Colorado. This series is tied 1-1. Barn burner in game 1. Winnipeg won 7-6. Game 2, Colorado won 5-2. Colorado's home splits insane. 31-9-1 at home, 20-17-6 on the road. Colorado's minus 166 on the money line tonight. Hard not to look at that.
Hard not to look at that, and then hard not to line right to McKinnon 2 points then.
Yeah.
Minus 135. He's done it 71% of the time at home this season. Like, Nichushkin's on his line now. It's kind of like what we were saying with McDavid the other night, even though he did miss. It's potentially your last time you're going to get this prop at a bettable price.
Yeah. Nichushkin was fantastic last game, too, by the way. Unbelievable. The whole series.
He's such a playoff performer.
Yeah. You look at his props, though. His points not bettable. His shots on goal at 2.5 really isn't bettable either. The only bettable prop, I guess, would be anytime scorer plus 135. And he has a goal in each of the first 2 games, but that still feels like a low number for Nichushkin of all people.
Yeah, but what about his 2+ points if he's on that top line?
It's true.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Franco, I'll start with you in this one. Any looks in Colorado, Winnipeg?
I mean, as far as sides, you can't back Colorado at the price, so I kind of am leaning Winnipeg. I think
Really?
Winnipeg, I think Winnipeg takes one of these games, one of these two.
I can see
So
that.
it's just when I feel like that, I just want to take them in this first game, and I'm just going to come right back if they do lose this game. And there's no value in taking Colorado. I don't mind doing some player props, but the one play I really like is Winnipeg's team total is like 2.5. I think it might not be bettable anymore though. It was earlier today, and then I waited on it. Yeah, it's minus 150 now at 2.5, so not really bettable. I actually did a parlay earlier today that I love is them to score 2, so the team total over 1.5, along with Edmonton over 2.5 goals. And I feel like that's just
what are the odds on that?
Minus 125. So not plus money or anything like that, but I don't see any type of game script, at least in this one, where Winnipeg doesn't at least score 2. So I feel like they had those 2 early in that last game, and then Colorado really tightened up defensively and was able to shut it down. I don't know that that's the norm, especially what we saw game 1. They had like numerous breakdowns. Georgiev didn't look good at all, and everybody was talking about how bad Colorado looked defensively and in net. And then now you get one game where they shut them down after giving up 2 goals in the first period, and we're good. They're good now. I don't think that's the norm. Colorado, like over the whole course of the end of the season, their defense was in shambles with turnovers and like just bad blown assignments and missed assignments where they were leaving Georgiev out to dry. So I think we still see that. So yeah, I like the value on Winnipeg. I think it's good value. Player props look good as well on their side. Morrissey point minus 125 is ridiculous. Like I don't know why that's still bettable with how he's been. I do agree with you guys though. I think McKinnon at 2 points is probably worth the look just because it's McKinnon at home and he's going to be firing. So as much as I want to bet Winnipeg, I still could see a scenario where McKinnon's involved. I just he just wills this team when he wants to. It's just every time he has the puck on his stick, man, it's just crazy. So and I like pretty much every Winnipeg block shot prop because I don't see any scenario where Colorado's not firing a ton of pucks, regardless of if it's a 2-1 game or 4-3 game. Like either way, I could see Colorado just shooting a ton. So Hellebuck saves, block shots, I think are other good angles to look at too.
Yeah, I saw Hellebuck was at 30.5 saves tonight. It's a high number, but I don't mind that at all, given the disparity of Colorado at home too. McKinnon has also missed his shots on goal the first 2 games, or the first 2 games, right?
The series. He has. And he I was just going to ask you guys what your thoughts were on McKinnon's shots, because he's missed the last 2. He's pretty spotty against Winnipeg in general. He's better at home though, and I just don't like the price for it. Now, of course, you could ladder him.
Yeah, minus 115-ish. Is that what they have it at? Or for yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad actually. That also gives me pause.
Yeah, because you look, so he's hitting 4 of his last 10 on the road, but at home he's hitting 7 of his last 10. And going back to the season here, trying to see,
he was slow to start, but then there was like a chunk of time when he was like 70% in the last like 15 or 30 home games or something.
But since December at home, he hasn't missed more than 2 in a row, and he's missed the last 2 at home. So for all the trends people out there, there's your inside look at McKinnon. Another guy too at points here that I really like is Cale Makar, especially for his points. He had 3 in game 1, 2 in game 2. The assist really isn't bettable tonight. I think that's around 160, but for over 1.5 points is plus 180. It's hard not to kind of go back to that.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's an unbelievable value in my mind, especially if you kind of think this game's going to be high scoring like the series has been. So I'm definitely going to be on that. I don't know how you pass that number up, especially with his value.
Yeah, I'll probably play that.
Yeah.
Do you guys think we get a response from Hellebuck though a little bit? I mean, I know he hasn't really been good this series yet, and I don't know if it's like the playoff Hellebuck curse or whatever you want to say, but I mean, he was phenomenal all year. It just seems weird that he's given up so many goals both games.
He has, yeah. I mean, last game especially too, he looked like he was like forcing like shots into the corner there. He didn't really look like confident in net. I don't know if it was because of game 1 where he kind of got rattled early, but in game 2 he didn't really look kind of his usual self in net either. That's just what I noticed. So he's the Vezina candidate and probably the Vezina winner this year. So if there's any goalie in this playoffs that's going to rebound, it's probably going to be him, right?
Yeah, you would hope. What is a rebound to you in your mind? Him only allowing
not letting
3
up 5
goals, or
yeah. I mean,
anything below 5.
I mean, if Jets win 6-4, is that a rebound?
No, I'm talking like 2. I'm talking 2 goals against or less. Like that. That's what I would want to see. If I'm a Jets fan, right? That's what I want to see. Hellebuck. I don't want to see a 6-4 win. Like that doesn't give me confidence in the series going forward.
Goals, 35 saves, and the Jets sneak out a win 3-2.
Yeah, that's what I want.
That would be a rebound, I guess.
Yeah,
and with McKinnon being on, or I'm sorry, Nichushkin being on the top line now, it feels like they're kind of going back to what we saw against Seattle, where it was one line eating up a ton of minutes, and really the only line that was able to get any sort of offense going. How confident are you in a Zach Parise, Casey Middlestat, and Lehkonen line, or a Colton Wood and Colangelo's on the fourth line now?
Kiviranta? This is why I didn't like Colorado in the series going into it. I don't like their depth, and like they've had better depth historically than this. And it's just, where is the goal scoring going to come from, especially if you stack this line? I don't understand why they're doing it. Like
I don't know.
You won that last game. Like, keep it going. Now you're a one-line team.
Yep. Parise was getting points. Lehkonen was getting points. Nichushkin was on the second line. Like I'm puzzled by this. And you know how this turns out with the way they divvy up the minutes.
Yeah, because it's going to be McKinnon out there every 3 shifts or whatever, and then that's fine, I guess. But by the end of the game, they're going to be exhausted, right? I mean, are you, especially if Winnipeg has the lead?
Yeah.
The more and more I think about it, the more I like Winnipeg money line.
I kind of do too a little bit here.
Speaking of Lehkonen, his shots on goal is at 2.5 tonight, -105. He had 7 on 9 attempts in the first game and 4 on 7 attempts in the second game here. He's hit in 6 of his last 7 versus Winnipeg. Feels like there's some value there, especially on that second line with Middlestat and Parise, who probably just going to keep feeding him the puck.
Well, so maybe, unless they don't have the puck as often. I mean, Nichushkin's a big boy. Like, he can drive a play, he can create a play, he can knock anybody off the puck and get it back. I don't know. I mean, I love the history. I love the recent attempts. I love the value you get on Lehkonen shots. Don't get me wrong. I felt confident on it last game and took it. I felt confident on a point from him last game and took it. Today, I don't feel nearly the same. And I was about to place a bet on a Parise point this morning until, thankfully, I checked the lines. Or thankfully, I live in Pacific time zone right now and didn't wake up and just do it because he was on the top line. You know?
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to give me pause. Now I may wait and see. I can be talked into taking it, or, if we wanted to include it in a parlay or something, I wouldn't object, but it does give me pause today.
Yeah, but like you said, it's one of those things where if they're just in the defensive zone the whole time because they're not controlling the play, it's not going to be able to shoot. So
yeah,
you look at the first 2 games though,
like that is brutal.
You look at the first 2 games, Colorado dominated puck possession.
Yeah. But they
So
also
again, why do you change your fucking lines?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First 2 games, they had like 3 lines that looked halfway decent.
But so we recorded this last time in Daily Faceoff had the lines for Boston out, and then about 10 minutes before the game, they tweeted out the lines were completely different. I think DeBrusque jumped up to that top line. Am I right, Franco, on that one?
Yeah.
That sounds right.
So is this almost one where you wait and see just confirmation on the
Colorado,
lines?
Colorado, I always wait for lines because I have gotten screwed before with it where I've seen Lehkonen on the top line last year, where I'm like,
yeah,
oh, awesome. Lekkonen's on the top line in practice. Cool. His point's like plus 120. Great. And then it's like you see the tweet 10 minutes before the game and he's not, he's on the third line or something. You're like, what? What is this? So, yeah, I mean, them especially, they tend to shift lines before the game. But again, like, I don't know. It still is just not ideal for if that is going to be the case. That line will be great, but what about everybody else?
I mean, you have some time too. You can see how your bets are going through the first 2 games. And I guess it's always one of those of maybe half an hour before you could place it.
Yeah.
That would be the other thing too. Any other thoughts on Winnipeg, Colorado? The more we talked about it too, there's a lot delved into this game.
Yeah.
Velarde
I'm laying off Connor shots. He's much better at home, but I don't know. I mean, he could be pushing back too, but again, it's mostly priced as a parlay anyways.
Ross Colton shots on goal here. He's in his first 2 games, minus 135 on that third line.
1.5?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
That was another one that I just kind of circled with that. Talked about Hellebuck saves here. Any final thoughts on this one before we head to Edmonton, LA?
Miles Wood point is plus 165. He's had a point in 4 straight games. I don't love it, but just something to consider. It's good value.
Why don't you like it?
I mean, I don't love it. He's the third line.
Yeah.
But,
he hasn't been bad this series.
Yeah, no, he's
been pretty good.
He's that spark plug type of guy. So, I mean, you never know what you're going to get there, but the value's there.
That's fair. Last game on the slate tonight, we have Edmonton traveling to LA. The series is tied up 1-1. LA won in overtime in game 2. Edmonton won 7-4 in game 1. Edmonton let them back into the series here. We kind of talked about it in the last episode of things they couldn't do. And I mean, LA looked fantastic in that second game here. They kind of outplayed Edmonton. Skinner looked shaky. Talbot didn't look great either. Edmonton missed a few kind of wide open looks. Talbot did make that incredible save on Draisaitl, sliding across from that pass from McDavid, which was unbelievable. I'll start with you, Betsky. What are your thoughts on Edmonton, LA?
And this is like an all-you-can-eat buffet of props.
Oh, is it ever? Yeah.
I mean, Kempe's shots as a parlay piece, point as a parlay piece, or his goal as a straight, or if you like doing goal lays, Kopitar assists. Talk about another guy playing on a hot top line, Quentin Byfield, point or assist. He has an assist in both games so far.
He loves playing Edmonton too. His history versus them is insane.
Well, it's because he plays with Kopitar and Kempe, and their history against Edmonton is insane. So, I'll piggyback, though. Fiala seems like he's heating up. His shots look fantastic again. I know I've seen some people talking about Philip Denault looking good. Arvidsson just wrecks the Oilers, so his shots or points both look good on the Oilers side. Bouchard. I mean, you want me to say some for you, Franco? Yeah.
Kane, good on the roster at this. Yeah,
Kane is hit every single time in LA. I mean, I mean, this is like the type of game
game. You could just put their props up on there, and anywhere on the board, you're probably gonna. It's not a bad look. It feels like.
Yep, Draisaitl.
Franco, before we run on it, we list the whole roster here. What are you looking at?
So I'm annoyed at myself because I looked at Draisaitl 2 points the last game and I didn't pull the trigger. That it's crazy because the obvious easy answer is always McDavid 2 points, right? And it's you see him at minus 130 or minus 125 or whatever, and it's like, okay, yeah, absolutely, I'll take that. But you're seeing Draisaitl at plus 165. I think he was plus 180 last game. Why the hell aren't we talking about that? I mean, he's had a great history against them. He looks great too. I mean, both of them are just equally as capable of doing it every game. So I don't mind that at all. I think you have to go to McDavid here. Again, minus 130 is the price. It's just stupid. Does he ever miss two in a row? Hardly ever, right? So Fogle point again looks good. I said it, didn't take it last game, and he got one instantly. So
yeah,
I love that. Probably look at some power play points too for Edmonton. I feel like they're going to get one pretty much every game. If you bet 2 or 3 of them, you're going to cash at least one. Henrique point still looks good. That's plus 120. Again, I feel like we're naming every player in this game, so I think we see goals. I do have a little bit of hesitation because I feel like eventually there's got to be a low scoring game in the series. It's kind of the same way with the Colorado series where like both games have gone over so far, and that doesn't usually tend to hold up throughout a whole series. Not every single game goes over. So is this the under game? I don't know. I love Edmonton. I grabbed them minus 130 this morning, and then I saw it move to minus 140. Don't love that price as much. I did do a parlay earlier today with Kempe shots and Edmonton money line, so that's pretty good value there. I like that a lot. I'm still holding strong to my belief that I think Edmonton is just the much better team. As bad as Skinner was, I think he's the better goalie. I think if they can kind of weather this storm, that I think it'll be popping there at the former Staples Center, whatever the hell they call it nowadays.
Crypto
to start off,
crypto.com.
Yeah, stupid. No, it's the Staples Center. Yeah, I think it's gonna be crazy to start. Right, it'll be loud there, relatively, I guess, and Kings will probably have that initial boost to start the first period. But I think if Edmonton can weather that, like, I could see a situation where this gets out of hand quick. I could see like a 4-1 type of going midway through the second period type of thing. And again, we're questioning whether the Kings should even be in the series. So that's kind of like how I feel about this game in general.
Is this the game McDavid finally just decides to start shooting?
No.
I
mean, that pass to Draisaitl the other day was insane.
Unbelievable.
The fact that he couldn't bury that. How the
and
hell
that's
is
his
he
bread and butter along the goal line right there too?
I know that's a goal 99% of the time from him. So I think with a couple of bounces that game ends differently. And you had Holloway scoring 2 goals that game. It wasn't even the big boys. So I think the big boys come back today, and this is it'll be fun.
Yeah. Vander Kane too, over 2.5 shots on goal, plus 110. I know he was dealing with kind of that sports hernia injury, but he looked much better in the second game than the first. The first game, it kind of looked like he was getting his legs underneath him. Bouchard shots on goal too, 2.5, plus 110. It's another look I like as well. But you're right. I mean, it's really props galore here. This feels like if there's ever a game that's begging you to do a same game parlay, this is it. I mean, you have everything you pretty much could want.
Yeah,
it seems like. Any other closing thoughts on this game, though? I do like Edmonton money line too, minus 142 on DraftKings. I'm not sure what the other books have it at, but
I do a little bit too. It's really hard to think of LA taking the lead. But
yeah, just don't see it.
They did look great last game, but
I think the other thing too is like it was the old guys, right? It was Kovatar, it was Doughty. Like, did they have another game like that in them again? I mean, maybe that first period they come out, but they looked old and slow in game 1. So what again? Or is that the norm, or is game 1 the norm? What we saw where they couldn't stop anything.
And let's not forget, Edmonton came back. I mean, overtime is obviously just a new period for playoff hockey, but I'd still like my money on a team with Draisaitl and McDavid.
Yeah,
5-on-5 in the long run any day.
To see
they're Kings are lucky they ended that so quick.
Yeah. If that drags on, eventually there's going to be an issue.
Just like the game, they went up quick, and Edmonton got back in it.
Yep.
All right, before we sign off here, you guys ready to build our parlay for the day?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Franco, do you have one that you're confident in?
Let's do Edmonton money line, the -140.
Okay, I like that. Change it up.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been shit on props, so I'm not even gonna touch it. I'll let you guys do what you want there.
Betsky, any intuition here?
Or does that take all the fun props off the board?
No, you can do like a same game parlay in this. Yeah, you can easily same game parlay. We could just do a same game parlay in Edmonton, LA.
Yeah, we could.
Paul has something to say.
You know what I think is undervalued? Since our last parlay was like just complete chalk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dog shit. We had, that was our worst one of the season, though. To be fair, we haven't done that all season. So
yeah, I know, it's crazy.
I kind of like Ehlers' point +105.
Okay.
You say he's top line tonight?
No, he's not. I mean, we can do Velarde. I have Velarde as a straight, but I'd be fine with doing Velarde here too. But
I do like Velarde. I like Ehlers too. They're both good.
Ehlers hasn't been great though, so I think I'd like it more just because of the value. Why don't you go first, Gator? Let me see what you pick, and then I'll play off that.
All right, I'll stay away from those two.
Or we could just do a block shot from that game.
We could go.
Why don't we just do that? DeMelo.
Let's say DeMelo
block shots. Just do both. Yeah. Let's do that. That's what I like.
What do you want to do?
Believe DeMelo hit the
DeMelo block shots.
Yep. And with Pionk.
Oh, both of them?
Yep.
Okay. Same game parlay.
Like I said, I have nothing for that Rangers game. I mean, it just I don't know why.
DeMelo over 1.5. Pionk over 1.5 too. Okay.
And you guys aren't high on the Nashville game, right?
No, I'm staying away from that one.
You don't want to do Elias Pettersson 3+ points?
Under 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, for -10K.
Man, why can't you do all unders? I would love that. Pettersson under 2 points. I'll be in for that. It'd be a great piece.
I mean, is Zibanejad assist or Lafreniere or Roslovic point? Those are the three that I had circled in the other game to give us something.
I like Zibanejad assist out of those, but
all right, let's do that.
Okay.
So that's +603. Oilers
good.
Money John, Zibanejad assist, and then DeMelo and Pionk over 1.5 block shots.
I like that. That's good value.
It is.
And are you doing on DK, right?
Yeah,
I did it on ESPN Bet.
DK has that boost today to do
the stepped up.
Yeah, stepped up boost. So you might as well do that as well. What does that give you if you do that? Do you have a Gator?
Sure. Or no, I don't.
I already used it. So
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna use it because I haven't yet. So that's pretty
cool.
Good. But yeah, I mean, regardless,
I admire you.
100. So.
So plus, I think that's the highest one yet. +603.
Yeah, I like it. Let's shoot for the moon.
Might as well after the last one.
Yeah.
God. Exactly. I'm glad it wasn't just Matthews that didn't hit.
It was just whatever. I would do that same one again.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he looked like he was out to lunch kind of in the second and third period there.
So do we think Toronto wins this next game? Is that like the consensus, or are we down on Toronto because they just?
I think they win it. I think that that Marchand penalty that didn't get called that led to a goal totally just got in their heads.
Yeah.
What a masterclass game by Marchand too. Though.
Yeah, and then his response too after Toronto tying it up. Just
honestly, Boston was getting away with so much.
I mean, the fact that Toronto ties it and they give a goal like 17 seconds later or something ridiculous.
Yeah, Marchand, scores
right
again. That was a dagger. That was the dagger.
You just got it back. You can't let it happen, man. Especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, we will post this parlay. Any closing thoughts here? We got half an hour till Toronto or New York, Washington. So
we got like an hour till the real games begin.
Yeah,
40 minutes till the national anthem.
So that parlay, by the way, bumps up to 754 with the
boost. Nice.
Yeah. So just
awesome. All right. Do you want to tweet that out then?
Yeah, I will.
I'll just retweet it.
All right.
So perfect. All right. You guys want to shout out your socials one last time here?
Yeah, I'm Gretzky Betsky's on Twitter and part of the Parlay Science Discord.
And I'm Franco the Banker on Twitter.
Awesome. As always, you can find me on Twitter at Gator Betting. Be sure to follow our podcast at Expected Bets 4. We appreciate everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.